Have you ever wondered how the same civilization that invented modern plumbing also thought it was a brilliant idea to declare war on the ocean? Well, we picture the Romans as these serious, disciplined conquerors, but what if I told you that they were actually completely unhinged? I'm talking about drinking sweat for energy, appointing horses to government, and using crabs as lawyers. So today, we're ignoring the boring stuff like taxes and aqueducts. We are diving straight into the funniest, craziest, and weirdest facts about the Roman Empire that your teacher definitely left out. Number 1. The emperor who fought the ocean and won? This is a wacky one to say the least. Many Roman emperors were praised for their great military accomplishment, but Emperor Caligula was special. He once marched his legions all the way across Europe to the English Channel, lined them up in a proper battle formation and ordered them to attack the sea. Yes, I am serious. He ordered highly trained soldiers to stab the water with their spears and slash the waves with their swords. The poor fish in there must have been terrified. Once the enemy was defeated, Caligula ordered his troops to gather seashells as spoils of war. He then marched back all the way to Rome to hold a proper military triumph to celebrate defeating Neptune, the god of the sea. I guess Neptune must have been hiding in the shallow end that day. Who knew? Number 2. The fashion police was real. Today, if you wear a mismatched outfit, the worst that can happen is you end up in a cringe compilation on TikTok. In the Roman Empire, however, wearing the wrong color could get you executed. The Romans were obsessed with the color purple, specifically Tyrian purple. It was a dye made from crushing thousands of sea snails. It was incredibly expensive and smelled absolutely terrible, like rotting fish.
Brother, ugh.
But because it was so pricey, it became the ultimate status symbol. It got so out of hand that emperors actually passed laws, making it illegal for anyone but the emperor himself to wear an all-purple toga. Imagine being arrested because your hoodie was just too fabulous. Nero actually once saw a lady in purple robes during a recital and had her dragged out and stripped of her wealth just for stealing his thunder. Talk about a diva. Number 3. My empire for a horse. This one comes from the same genius who stabbed the ocean, Caligula, because the logical next step after fighting the water is obviously to promote your horse. Caligula loved his horse, Incitatus, more than most people. The horse had a marble stall, a statue, purple blankets, which were illegal for humans but okay for horses apparently, and a staff of servants who fed him oats mixed with gold flakes. But Caligula wasn't done. He famously planned to make Incitatus a consul, which was the highest elected political office in the entire empire. Imagine checking the ballot box and seeing a stallion listed as the candidate. Sadly, this political career was cut short because Caligula was assassinated just before the appointment. Turns out, leading a horse to water is easier than making him a government official. Number 4. The Emperor's Nights Out. Now you might have heard that Emperor Nero was a bad guy. But he didn't just sit in his palace plotting evil. He liked to get hands-on. Nero was essentially the world's first prankster YouTuber, but with absolute diplomatic immunity. He would get bored at night, put on a disguise like a wig or a peasant hood, and roam the streets of Rome with his friends. They would break into shops, throw pottery at people, and even mug random pedestrians. Imagine walking home from work, getting jumped by a gang of hooligans, and realizing the guy stealing your wallet is the Emperor of Rome. If you fought back, you were in trouble. If you didn't fight back, you got beat up. It's really hard to win when the Vandal-in-Chief runs the court system. Number 5. The ultimate beauty standard. When we look at statues of Roman women, they look elegant and pristine. But if you were a Roman lady trying to be trendy, you wouldn't be plucking your eyebrows, you'd be connecting them. That's right, in ancient Rome, the unibrow wasn't a fashion faux pas. It was the height of sophistication. They believed a solid single brow was a sign of high intelligence. So, if you were unlucky enough to have two separate eyebrows, like a normal person, you had to fake it. Women would use dumb soot or even stick goat hair to their forehead with 3 resin to get that perfect look. Imagine getting ready for a date and having to glue a piece of goat to your face just to look smart. Fashion is truly painful, folks. Number 6. The first energy drink. You know that feeling in the morning when you're groggy and refuse to interact with another human being until you have had your coffee? Or when you need a pre-workout boost? Well, the Romans had the same problem. But caffeine wouldn't arrive in Europe for another 1500 years. So, an entrepreneurial physician named Galen came up with a solution. He took the byproduct of the most famous warriors, the gladiators, and sold it. I am talking about their sweat. They would scrape the sweat, dirt, and dead skin off of a gladiator after a fight, mix it in with some vinegar, and sell it as an energy tonic.
Brother,
People believed the sweat contained the gladiator's strength and stamina.
Wow!
So the next time you complain about the taste of your protein shake, just remember, at least it doesn't taste like a sweaty man named Spartacus, right? Number 7. Seafood as a lie detector. Now imagine having to prove someone was lying before the invention of forensic science. It's a tricky task. Well, there is a famous story, which might be more of a myth than hard fact, but it is way too funny not to mention it. And that story is that some Roman courts had a creative solution to this problem. Seafood, specifically crabs. The story goes that they would use trained crabs during testimonies. These crabs would supposedly go around and pinch the legs of anyone who was caught lying. Now, did this actually work? Probably not. Was it just a coincidence that the crab pinched the guy who looked nervous? Probably yes. But imagine the stress of trying to give a testimony in court while a crab is eyeing up your ankles. Talk about a shellfish allergy. So there you have it, folks. The great Roman Empire, for all its glory, marble statues and military victory, they were also fighting water, gluing goat hair to their foreheads and drinking very questionable things. Do you know of any other quirks or funny aspects of the Romans that I have missed? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like the video and hit that subscribe button for more history that your teacher probably skipped. And I'll see you at the next forum gathering.